Hello guys, Metzplay here. So, Setzer will be making his appearance in Omnia pretty soon. So as usual, I'll be here to do my breakdown of Setzer. So I'll be doing it from a gameplay perspective, his passives, the banner for his event, the boss of the event, and how Setzer will be in the future. There'll be timestamps as a first comment, so therefore if you want to get to the section you want, just look at the timestamps. So with that out of the way, let's get on with the show. Let's talk Setzer from a battle perspective. So, Setzer is a ranged kind of support character. He's a bit of a hybrid with his two abilities. His first ability is Freeze Joker. It's a one-hit magical AoE brave attack, and it inflicts a unique debuff called Freeze to all targets. Any target affected by Freeze, their brave cannot increase. So it's stuck and can only go down and down and down until you break them. Freeze only lasts for 2 turns, so make it count. But it's a really good debuff if you use it just right. It can stop enemies from gaining lots of brave, and you can really change the tide of a battle because they can't gain brave and you can. So even if they hit you, they can't gain any brave from this. So that's really good. Setzer's second ability is called Bloody Card. Bloody Card is a powerful ability. It's a 9-hit ranged brave attack. That's right, 9 hits. And it gives Setzer a small max up brave buff after using it. Now, the thing about Setzer, which is going to be quite interesting, is when Setzer first came into the scene in JP, both his abilities were one-time use, and that was it. And then later on down the line, he got a buff so that Freeze Joker was 2 uses and Bloody Card was 5. Now, I'm hoping that we get this Setzer, because if we don't, that Setzer before is very hard to use because you have to use your abilities at the right moment. You cannot miss the timing, you cannot chance wasting your abilities, because those abilities are very good, especially at this point in the game, where before all the powerful characters come into play. So Setzer is a really good character early on, but if we get this Setzer now, he's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. So let's demonstrate his 2 abilities, shall we? We're going to use Freeze Joker first. And as you can see, bam. They get that 2 turns of freeze and their brave cannot increase. And even if they use their brace, where they increase their brave by a tiny bit, it doesn't go up anywhere. So that is why Freeze Joker is a really good attack. Now we're going to see Setzer use Bloody Card. As you guys can see, it's a lot of damage. A lot of damage. Flying enemies get decimated by this attack because they tend to be weak to ranged attacks. So using Bloody Joker, Bloody Card against them is just amazing for that. But yeah, that's pretty much Setzer in a nutshell. Global devs, please, please, please give us buff Setzer, please. Like, I really don't want to go through that whole era of just 1 ability uses for each. But yeah. Next, we'll be talking about Setzer's passives. Moving on. So, Setzer uses black crystals. And let's go through all his passives, shall we? So Setzer's first passive, which gets at Crystal Strength level 5, is Freeze Joker Light. So that will reduce the delay after using Freeze Joker. At 10, he gets bonus up. So it increases the brave gain from the break bonus when you break an enemy. That could combine really well with Bloody Card, by the way. At 15, Setzer gets Freeze Joker Brave gain, so he gets a little amount of Brave after using Freeze Joker. If you guys saw when I used Freeze Joker in my demonstration, Setzer did get a little Brave. It's not a lot, but any little helps, right? So at 20, that's when you get Bloody Card. At 25, it's Mighty Bloody Card. Oh no, I thought I'd just put that in there. But yeah, so that increases the power of Bloody Card. At 30, I don't know what they call it in global because I've not really checked passives, but in JP, this is called break speed up. So your speed is increased by a little bit for 1 turn after you break an enemy. Then, 35, it's Bloody Card Light. So it reduces the turn delay after using Bloody Card. So you guys can see like all these kind of support-ish kind of effects on all these effects that make Setzer really good after using Bloody Card. And that's why at the time it's only down to 1 usage. It took a while before we got the buff to Setzer to make it really good. But you guys can see why it was only 1 use, right? All these passives are really geared around making Bloody Card really good. You break them up, you get the bonus Brave. If you've got that passive equipped, you've got the power up as well. You've got the light as well so that you can attack quicker. So it's all pretty good. Then at 40, it's critical Brave gain. So you get a small amount of Brave after you inflict a critical hit. Then at 45, this one I don't like. It's called Danger Attack Up, and it increases your attack power by a bit when your HP is under 20%. Are you really going to be using this? I personally, I'm not a fan of this because it's too high risk, but the reward is very little. And from a CP perspective, if I can get up, it's 15 CP to equip this. That's way too much. That is way too much. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this one, I have to say. But if you guys can find a way to work it, that'd be great. That'd be really good. But for me, I'm just not liking this ability at all. This passive is just not great. It really isn't. Finally, Setzer's last ability is called All In. So, Setzer will gain a buff to his initial Brave, his max Brave, his attack, his defense, and his speed when you run out of ability uses. So, Setzer becomes quite powerful after using this. So, that is a good thing. Now, it was much easier to trigger this back in the day when you only had one ability for each, 1 use for each ability. But now, hopefully, if we get buff Setzer, that'll be quite hard to use because you don't want to be spamming Bloody Card. Because Bloody Card is a really good ability. And for me personally, I like to use it when I want to break an enemy who gets Brave that's a bit too high for my liking. And I have no more free Joker users left. But if we do get unbuffed Setzer, this will be quite easy to trigger, and your Setzer will be pretty good afterwards. So that's one thing to note, and that's why I like this ability. I like it less if we get buff Setzer, but if we don't, then this makes your Setzer quite viable after you use your ability uses. And that's about Setzer in a nutshell, really. Quite a lot of interesting passes, I have to say. It makes him quite a formidable character, and especially some of the things around Bloody Card will make him just so good. But yeah, next up we'll be talking about the banner for the Setzer event, so I'll see you in a bit. Let's talk the relics and the synergy characters. So the synergy characters for this event are Laguna and Yuffie. If you guys know something about all 3 characters are ranged attackers. Ranged attackers are really good against flying enemies, so I guess that gives you an inkling at what boss we'll be facing in this event. Talking the relics on the banner, we'll be going, as always, from the bronze to the gold, and even though this is your event, Setzer, I'm very sorry to do this, but in my opinion, your 5-star Death Turret is the worst relic on the banner. Now, just because something is the worst, it doesn't mean that it's really bad. So I just want to get that out of the way. But Setzer's 5-star, unfortunately, when you use Freeze Joker, all allies get a max Brave Up boost for 3 turns, and that's really it. Unfortunately, it's just not all that great. It's quite lacking compared to a lot of 5-stars that you see. If the 5-star Death Turret just gave a little increase of damage to Freeze Joker and extended the debuff of Freeze by 1 turn, to me that would have made it the gold on this banner by far, because it will address the weaknesses quite well. It will address the lack of damage, and it will address, because you're going to use it once, the duration lasts for quite a bit of time. But all it does is it gives a max Brave Up boost, and that's it. And unfortunately, that's just not very helpful. And that is a shame, because I was expecting a bit more from this, and it just is very lacking. Very, very lacking. Yeah. Moving on. And I know I have a disdain for this relic, but Yuffie is the silver of this banner somehow. So the Oritsuru grants maximal Brave Up for 1 turn. Now, why she gets silver? Let me explain. Yuffie will be getting Synergy in this event. That means that her max Brave Up goes up quite high. So when using Snatch, we can get a really high amount of Brave. Now, this kind of combos, but kind of doesn't with Setzer's 5-star, because when you use Snatch, you gain small max Brave for 1 turn. But that would override Setzer's 3 turns, so you only get that for 1 turn. But that's kind of the thing. Maybe 1 turn is all you kind of need for max Brave Up buff, because next thing you're going to be doing is HP attacking, right? So that is why it's best just to do that instead, as opposed to have that max up for 3 turns. And what are you going to do with those 3 turns? Whereas Yuffie's Oritsu is straight to the point. Max Brave Up, much brave as possible, HP attack, move on. And that is kind of why I'm kind of warming up to Oritsuru in this event, because it's actually not all that bad. I mean, for me, it's not trying to be a joke. It would be like, this relic is terrible. But no, it is good. It's good, and for this event, it's good. So I have no real complaints about it. So, Yuffie, you get the silver. Well done to you. Finally, we're going to go on to Laguna. Now, we got buffed Laguna, and that changes everything. Because when we first had Laguna in JP, Grenade only did a small defense down debuff, and that was it. But now we've got buff Laguna, you look at the debuffs that we can put on an enemy. We can do defense down, speed down, and attack down. And that is just crazy. One character doing 3 debuffs at this point in the game is it's fantastic. And the Galbadi machine gun just extends the duration of the defense down for 1 extra turn, and it gives Grenade more power. So that is good. It just makes Grenade that more powerful, and because it's a ranged area attack, we'll be taking down a whole bunch of flying enemies with ease. The greatest of ease, guys. So for me, this is the gold one, because Laguna is just a good character, and it makes him just a little bit better. I have no real complaints about this one. No real complaints. It does everything you need it to do. Increase the power, extend the debuff duration. Looking at you, Setzer, that's kind of what you should have had. And that's the banner. So next on, we'll be talking about the boss. So this is our boss for this event. So in JP, this boss was called the Angry Bird. Now, a lot of flying enemies have this one weakness, where if you break them, they fall down to the ground. This guy is an exception. He does not fall down. So he will keep flying, which is really annoying. So that means he will get his attack off. Now, he uses this breath attack, which just does damage. Nothing other than that, really. Just brave damage. But his second attack, which I find to be really annoying, which I hope he should use here. It's kind of like a small whirlwind. There we go. Now this inflicts 2 debuffs, defense down and speed down. And it's really annoying. That speed down debuff is such a pain. But other than that, other than some minor annoyances, he's kind of okay. He does have single target attacks as well, but that's just like his HP attack. but his single target attack is just like a wind attack. But other than that, it's nothing to worry about either. But here is where this battle gets scary. So when you see him only targeting himself, be prepared for what's going to come. And this is why Setzer is key for this event. You guys just saw that, right? You see that why Freeze Joker is so good. You see why. So when he gets down to about 50% and he starts targeting himself, he's going to use an attack called Enrage. And that just gives him 8k. Like, just off the bat, no disadvantages, just 8k. And that is just ridiculous. So you have to be quite careful with this. And that's why you need to conserve your free jokers. No matter what happens or what you come to see, just be very careful. When you see him targeting himself, that's the moment to use free joker. But that's what we have you for this event, I guess. Snatch! Ooh! So there you go, that's the wind attack. But other than that, that's just all you need to look out for with this guy. If we're careful, if we're good, if we get more than one freeze joker, we should be able to take this guy quite easily, I have to say. I think we should be able to beat him quite well. But if not, be prepared. If things get too scary and you're running out of options, hopefully that's the time you just summon. You just summon, because if you just summon, you can wheel down his Brave there and then. So like Sylph will give all your non-elemental attacks N-Wind, as what I like to call it. So they'll all become wind elemental attacks. I believe he is weak to wind. Yes, so he's weak to wind. So combining with that with Sylph means that all your attacks will do a lot more damage. The bloody card will rip into this guy big time if you haven't used it yet. So overall, that's just this boss. Just remember, when he's broken, he stays flying, so don't get confident. Watch out for Sandstorm. Again, that attack is those two debuffs of defense down and speed down, and that speed down is the more dangerous of the two, because it just slows you down and means that he'll probably get a turn in before you can. So just be very wary of that. Enrage is when you'll see him targeting himself. He'll shoot his Brave up to crazy high amounts. If he can get the kill shot, 9 out of 10 times, he'll always go for that kill shot. So that's a very scary thing to know. But overall, that's just this boss, and you should be fine. You should be fine. Just remember one thing as well, guys. Magical attackers are good against him as well, because he doesn't resist. He doesn't resist magical attackers either. He doesn't resist physical attackers as well. So you don't have to rely on the synergy characters if you want to beat them. CG characters are mostly meant to be able to take them to the boss the easiest way, but depending on your relics, maybe that might not be the case for you. And if that's the case, then use your other characters. Don't be too afraid. Like, just be fine. When I did this in JP, I used Saz. And I experimented using Edge as well. Like, if you're targeting Edge after using Enrage, then I just use my buff to avoid the attack, and then get the break afterwards. But that's just two suggestions as well. Remember, you guys got Terra now, who's quite powerful as well. Vaughn will do quite a lot, especially with his second attack, White Wall, because White Wall, I believe, is wind first and light afterwards. So those are some other characters that you can use as well. But overall, with all the buffs that characters have had now, I think we're in a much better place to take this guy down. And I think, from what I've seen from a lot of my people I've commented and talked to on my channel, we got a lot of good players. So I think you'll have a good time with this. Anyway, next up, for those guys who just want to know how things are going to be in the future, this will be analysing Setzer in the future. So if you don't want to get any spoilers, now's the time to stop the video and go on to the next one. But if not, if you're just so curious to see how Setzer is going to be in the future, then please continue to watch on. So let's talk Setzer in the future. So unfortunately, Setzer did not get a level break, so he's still at 50-50 at this moment in time. He did get an exclusive, however, and his exclusive is actually pretty good. So Setzer's exclusive, it lowers the turn delay after you use Bloody Card, and it has the bonus effect of being able to delay the opponent's turn by 1. So as you guys can see, pretty good effect. So effectively, it's still a stone. Now, you can use Setzer and Stellar to keep delaying the opponent's turn. So that's one thing that's pretty good about the attack. But overall, we're still waiting for the Setzer's level break. There's nothing more to it than that. Well, we shall see. Hopefully, Setzer's level breaks does make him a lot better than what he currently is at. But the card is still a really good attack at this current moment in time. But that's about it, really. That's about it. Anyway, guys, this is Metzplay. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope this has got you nice and prepared for the Setzer event. I thank you guys all for watching. It always means a lot that you guys take your time to watch my videos and just to comment on it as well. Give me feedback, have discussions. It's always good talking with you guys. I actually love it. I apologize that I am not always the fastest to respond back to comments, but I do want to respond back to everyone. So apologies for the delay at times, but however, you guys are making YouTube a lot more fun for me, so keep it coming, keep it coming. Anyway, let's get ready for Setzer to come very soon. Anyway, bye bye guys.